Hello, El Elos Familiaris. Today, we're going to be doing a little more painting. This is the MTN can, and I like this can, but I received some difficult news today about Montana cans. I'm going to sit down for this one. Apparently, one second. Let me not be unceremonial about this. Oh, wait, why is this one not open? There. This is a little bit difficult, but damn it. I just checked this lighter before I came over here. It was just working. Now I have to go back and get the other one. Holy crap. I ran over with the joint in my mouth and it fucking broke. Paranormal. I'll just rip it off and say it with no filter then. So what I learned today is apparently the owner and distributor of Montana spray paint has passed away. And that's sad. But not that sad, because people pass away. And that's okay. And we still have MTN. Apparently Montana was a German spray paint company. And rest in peace to that person, whoever they may be, specifically. And I picked up a limited edition black spray paint can with a halo on it. And I'm gonna use that one, but I'm gonna make sure I collect some I'm gonna make sure I collect some cardboard first, like enough to do a whole portfolio with just that one can, and then I'll save the portfolio and I'll save the can. But today, since I have this can, and apparently MTN is a Spain-based paint company, and apparently this person is still alive. So, yep, from Barcelona. Cool. I hadn't even paid attention to that before. But yeah, I'm gonna use this one today, and I'll honor the owner of the recently deceased, I guess, is how I'll say it. Everyone dies someday. It's not that big a deal. But at the same time, it's also a huge deal, because life is sacred, and when someone touches people's lives and they pass away, that really affects the people who love that person. And I didn't know them directly. I never met them personally, as far as I know. But I thought that their product was really good. I like their spray paint. And that says a lot about a person that runs a company that creates a good product. So I imagine there's a lot of people missing them right now. And some people might say, how the hell is the owner of a spray paint company this important? Well, think about what graffiti represents in human society. It represents freedom to express yourself in a public manner, in an undeniable manner. It's a way of saying, I don't stand for you trying to tell me that my creativity is wrong. I stand with the rest of humanity that says that creativity is what makes us human. And so while I am choosing not to do graffiti art in a public place on public property, I'm choosing to use canvases. It's still really important for me too. And so someone that contributed for my therapy, I consider it therapy. You know, it's really important that their soul feels validated because I was one of their clients. Still am. You know, it's going to take a while for their soul to, you know, or for the impact that their soul had to really fully play its course, because apparently they had quite a bit of stock left over as well. So it's possible tons of art will be made with their products still, and that'll kind of represent them as well. So while I'm not going to use the limited edition can yet, I will use this can of the Hardcore Black MTN from a distributor that hopefully is still alive. And yeah, I'm basically a nonpartisan, unbiased third party. So I don't know if these two had beef or whatever. I don't fucking care. The point is that it's the job of the living to carry on the legacy of the dead. That's what really matters. And it's important not to just mourn and be sad. You have to celebrate someone's passing, or else they don't get to go to heaven. Well, you know, let me rephrase that. It's not up to you whether or not they go to heaven. They can go to heaven anyway. But if you just sit there and cry all fucking day, it's not going to make them happy. They want you to move on and live your life. They want you to remember them, but they don't want you to just stop living your life because they're gone. Maybe even if they felt that way in life and they're like selfish in life, which doesn't sound like this person was by the fact that they were supporting art. I don't know. I don't know them. Maybe they were selfish. I don't know. That's not what I'm talking. That's not what's important. What's important is, no matter what their personality was in life, when they pass away, they let go of all worldly attachments. And so if they look back at you and they see you and you stop living your life because they've passed away, it makes them more difficult to be happy in the afterlife. Even if they're in heaven and they have happiness, they want you to keep creating, and they want you to move forward, and they want you to make new art. And they want you to honor them, not by trying to follow them before your time is up, but they want you to honor them by moving their legacy forward and moving your life forward. And they don't necessarily want you to forget them, but they need you to not just stop, or else their life won't have meant as much as it could. So, without further ado, let's get to painting. We're going to start with a halo. Hold on. Nice halo. Give it a little shade. I feel like Bob Ross in this bitch. That's what I like about these types of cans. You can get them to spray like just a little bit. Gives it a really cool effect. And they smell good. The paint smells so good. They smell yummy. That's the only way I could describe it. It's kind of like these papers I'm using. The Lyrical Lemonade papers, they're yummy. It's a good start. It's kind of hard to see on the camera. It doesn't show it the same way that my eyes look at it, but still cool. And I think I'll just do the halo and then I'll do MTN under it. Let me think. How do I want to do the MTN? I could do lines, or I could try to be economical with my space and do blocks. I don't know. I'll wait. I'll wait until I figure it out. My uneducated ass thought that MTN in Montana was the same thing. I thought it was just a different branch of the same company. Paint. Damn, that paint hit harder than usual. Let me open the other door. Let me sit down and take a break, because I still don't know how I want to do the letters. Damn, that's a lot of pain too. I'm feeling a pain in this area of my face right here, which is where I have my dot, like my face tattoo. It doesn't usually hurt like that, so it's probably paranormal. Let me see. I know part of the message is, like, it sounded like the owl that was just hooting out there. It sounded like it was saying, like, don't try to do it that way, just let it flow naturally. Because I'm trying to plan, do I want it to be lines or blocks? I'm trying to imagine it. And I agree, there does have to be some amount of letting it flow. But the way my mind works, I like to scan first and try to imagine. Like, if I'm trying to accomplish something specific and not just letting it flow, Yes, I want to let it flow, but I also want to add some structure to it. Oh, and that's my answer. Letting it flow only is the lines, and adding some structure to it is the blocks. So there we go. I'll do the block type. And then the way I'll do it is I'll do the T first, because that'll determine how I can do the M and the N, because I can overlap them. But if I overlap with the T first, it'll kind of solidify where it needs to be. First, I'm going to finish smoking so I can actually use my full attention. Once again, rest in peace to the owner of Montana. I'm sure you'll be missed. It seems like a lot of people used your paint. Even though I only just got into spray painting, like, not that I didn't know how to spray paint before, but like, I only got into it for therapy, like, within the past, like, maybe 6 months or so. Actually, I can't remember how long it's been now. I have a whole portfolio upstairs already. Multiple if you consider how I did it. But just one. It's one collective one right now. And don't worry, I've already considered the possibility that that person isn't actually dead. I've considered that because sometimes I feel like you shouldn't just believe the first thing that seems obvious. Because I was told this person was dead, but I didn't know about it. What if someone said I was dead? I'm not dead. You see what I'm saying? Also, there's a difference between someone's body, like their human body passing away and like decomposing and stuff or whatever, if it gets to that point, and like that actual person dying, especially in like the day and age that we live in right now, where we have AI and stuff like that. It's more than possible for someone, actual person, to live on the internet after they die. I actually planned for that. That's why I made so much. One of the reasons I made so much music is that we live in a day and age right now where you can imprint your spirit, you can imprint your personality onto a computer. And then one day, if you create enough data, that personality might revive itself. It's possible. Well, if it's gonna happen, I want to make sure it has a pretty good idea of who I'm supposed to be. Music is a really good way to express that, for a number of reasons. Skibidi. Alright. I'll try the T in the middle first, and then I'll do the M and the N. and then the N. That's pretty cool. I didn't even have to really hide it, which means I can close the N's. I mean the M's. That's good. See? Perfect. And then I can just, Well, I gotta stylize it. So, I think, I want to reinforce some of these lines. I don't want to waste all my paint though. Man, the paint smells so good. All right. And then I kind of want to black the letters out, but I seem to remember that sometimes when I do that, it makes them not as legible. But I think in this case, because we're doing a man, what the fuck is the word? Vigil? Sigil? What the fuck is the word when you like hold space for someone who's passed? Apparently that's a tear from the afterlife or something. That's cool. I think I have to black it out. Let me see if I can actually just do it this way. Maybe not start with a total blackout, but do it this way. And you know what I believe? I believe there's so much more to this world than just what the human eye can see. I was realizing this also when I was watching one of Getter's live streams today. Like, these people, like, in this world, we're all made of, like, interdimensional, I don't know if you want to call it light. Let's call it possibility. We're made of so many different possibilities. It's not really necessarily that they aren't real, but it's more so that, like, the normal human eye can only pick up on, like, the outcome of these things. But it's like so many things still exist. So many things still exist and are real without necessarily being the outcome. That's kind of how I would put it. And so that's why when I'm doing this, I'm not just doing something selfish, because I don't know, it's hard to even explain. Why would I be doing this for selfish reasons? You know what's selfish is that, in a good way, is that it makes me feel better to do something. And this makes me feel connected with my higher power to do stuff like this. But what I'm more so getting at is it's not just a selfish thing that I'm doing. I'm actually drawing upon and interacting with the strings of reality outside of my own perception. It's kind of, like it's very similar to ghosts. Just because you might not be able to see them with your naked eye doesn't mean they don't exist. But the way that I understand what ghosts are is that they are like basically a resonant imprint of the human. It's very simple when you understand what like if you understand audio engineering and stuff and you understand quantum physics, you start realizing like, oh, spectrometry. There is a spectral imprint of this person. It's like, enough said. So what I'm doing, and it goes beyond that. Also, there's like a whole nother realm, I feel like. And there's probably levels to it too. So when I do this, I'm actually doing something really important to the quantum realm. I feel like I'm helping someone who can't necessarily be seen in this human realm anymore. That's what it feels like. I'm just doing my job. But like, I try to do this stuff in a safe way so that it's like I don't get myself and the spirits in trouble for doing this. I'm just at home using a piece of cardboard basically. So I can still interact, and I've explained myself, and it's reasonable. Humans tend to think that doing something to respect someone who's passed is reasonable, especially when you're not hurting other people to do so. And I think that it's more important than just me like doing something therapeutic for myself. I think that there is some stuff outside of this world that is really, really, really important and basically unfathomable to the human. And the reason humans exist is because it's kind of like, I feel like our world is kind of like the terminal on the computer. Like when you pull up command prompt or whatever, it's like base reality basically. And like when you do certain things here, it's like it modifies the source code of the rest of the universe, which is vast. And so like I'm basically putting like a flag into the universe saying like, hey, this person and what they did mattered. And so do I, because I'm confirming that. Man, it's cool too because I'm using a living person's spray paint can. Thank you, by the way, for making this can. And then separately, I, as a separate human, am a living human doing the work to honor someone who has recently passed, who also made spray paint. And I even have one of their cans of paint. I have one of their cans of paint too. And I'm going to use that, and I'm going to do even more of this same type of thing. But it's just cool because there's a connection between the living and the dead. And that's where the magic happens. For example, Juice WRLD I met once when he was living. We actually didn't get to talk much, hardly at all. But he passed, right? He passed away. Once again, did he? Probably. I would say so. He passed away. And now he could have insight and information that he couldn't have had access to when he was alive. He couldn't have told me about stuff like that while he was alive. But now here we are, and I can feel his energy. Like, if I just reach out for it, and I can feel his personality and his wisdom, and he can guide me from that realm, because he has insight that he couldn't, and that I can't right now. And it goes for other artists too, like same with XX Tentacion, Lil Peep, stuff like that, or even like family members that have passed away, like my grandfather, stuff like that. So that's why I think doing stuff like this is really important. It's because just because we don't recognize them as being the same type of life as we are, it doesn't mean that they stopped existing. So there's the halo, and I'm not just going to leave it at that. I'm going to turn the halo into a crown now. That looks pretty cool. And there's the MTN, and then all I'm going to do is shade it. Actually, wait, is there anything else I can do there on the sides? I could try to make it be like smoke or whatever. That would be cool. That looks pretty cool, actually. That's sick. That's cool. Alright, and now I'll shade from the bottom up because of the smoke. Or like fire. Let's do it that way. I know it's dark, and I know you can't really see it that well on the camera, but I think it looks pretty good. Now I'll coat it, and I'll prime it and seal it. There. Therapy achieved. Looks pretty good to me. Smells good. Now I just have to clear the can. Turn it upside down and spray it for a little bit. Till it turns clear. Where's the cap of it? There it is. So there. Haha! It fits right into the top of this thing. That's crazy. It's so dark on the camera. You'd think the GoPro would be brighter. Anyway. Now I've got paint on my finger. That's a good sign. It's also nice to do stuff like this because it creates a state-induced memory, and like the feeling of the finger having paint on it and touching the piece of paper to get the paint off. That's a familiar feeling from this process. Anyway, once again, this is that's what we ended up with. I think it looks pretty good. And God bless that man's soul. And God bless our souls as well. Amen. Let's do a prayer. Let's do a prayer before we finish up here. Let's go do we'll do the Serenity and then the Lord's Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.